Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your April 2021 full moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before I begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Fantastic. Let's let the bulls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the April 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the April 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the April 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh, show me clearly. Okay, we're going to stop here. I'm going to put the cards out that fell. All right. Now, the left-hand side is the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Page of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Of course, this is us, Capricorn, coming through as a student. But also we have the new moon on the 11th of May in Taurus. So this new moon is going to be teaching us a lot and bringing a lot to the table. We have the Ten of Swords, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new. We have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy, time frame August 23rd to September 22nd. Then we have the Fool, beginning of journeys, but also faith within oneself, really. We have the Three of Cups, crowning the heart. We have the Two of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, interesting for the heart. We have the Eight of Swords in the public arena, which makes sense with the Ten of Swords that we have within the inner self, and the focus put on self-contemplation, but also self-bravery during this time. We then have the Eight of Wands. So in the public arena, Capricorn, there's really going to be the sense of, I'm taking everything super seriously. I'm taking everything super seriously because I need to get the job done. And there's a part of us that is so afraid. So we're going to think, if I can just make every step correct, if I can just, plan for everything, everything will work out beautifully. And the fact of the matter is, we can't do that. So here, and it's within the mind, and it has to do with career, with passion, with the way that we want to move forward. If we can free ourselves from that, the world starts to open. It doesn't open exactly in the way that we want it to, okay, because there's things going on here that we can see, but it opens up in a way that we start collaboration, which is really important with this full moon in Scorpio. So this full moon is, of course, in Scorpio, and it is about collaboration. It's about understanding. There's an element here of needing to work with others. And that's okay, that's from the spirit animal of the wolf, and also coming in with the beaver spirit, which I know, spirit animals, believe in them, don't believe in them, but they're nice. I find them comforting. So here there's a sense of more being brought to the table than what we had originally realized. So let's let the moon speak for herself right from the very beginning. So let's see here, Capricorn, what the moon has to offer. So we will begin with the moon, and of course we will end with the moon. So let's see. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. Okay. So before we get into everything that's lined up here, let's see. We have focus, will, and balance. Acceptance, beauty, and path. So there's going to be an acceptance of the beauty of the path that we are on, which isn't necessarily the path that we thought we would be on or the way that we thought we would be moving forward. There's a need for focus, and that focus comes from this moon because this moon brings up so much during this time. Okay, so the full moon in Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, right? Pluto brings us to processing, evolution, and metamorphosis. This is the process of evolution of self, metamorphosis of being, and it brings us into the circle of death, rebirth, and regeneration. So there is a sense here, like the butterfly, of changing, and it's around our third eye. It's around the opening of ourselves, the gifts that we are getting, what it is that we want. I see the Ten of Swords as very much of a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new card. It's the minor arcana death card for me. And then we have this turning inward, turning to what we want. So there's a need to focus, a focus on the change that is coming forward for us, also a focus on where we want to be, of what it is that we desire, of what this moon is illuminating, because this moon during this time is squared Saturn in Aquarius with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus conjunct Uranus. So what this means is that Saturn brings in its energy of, I need to handle this all on my own, which we can see us warring with in the public arena. The focus can be, all right, do I have to handle this all on my own? Or, is it just through my own will that I will get everything done? Or is it a balance? A balance between what I can handle myself and what I kind of outsource to others, what I lean on others, there we go, others for. And there's a sense here of looking at what we desire, looking at what we want. The will is strong, but it's also a sense of the will to prove people wrong who haven't believed in us. Also a will to prove those who have believed in us right. A sense of, am I in the right path? Am I walking the right way? Are the doors opening the way that I need them to? And a sense of the poverty mentality coming forward. And it's like, can I shatter that through my will alone? Or do I need to see new ways, gain new understandings, open up new doors? So there's a lot that comes here that is very intense. And Sagittarius energy, with it being represented by Temperance in the major arcana, it focuses on balance. It focuses on what we desire. So that's on the 26th of May that the next full moon comes in. Now, both of these full moons are supermoons. The last full moon in Libra was almost a supermoon. It was so closely there that it's easy to mistake it for one. But the fact of the matter is that during this time, now everything's enhanced. So last lunar cycle, everything was amplified, yes, but not to the extent that it will be now. And with the lunar eclipse on the 26th of May, that's going to amplify everything more. And we're talking about this time with this full moon in Scorpio about this death, rebirth, and regeneration. It's also calling on the inner cycle of growth, and it's having us face issues of trust, control, and power. And that brings us to acceptance. It's kind of like the prayer of serenity, the serenity prayer. Like, give me the strength to accept what I can't change and change what I can. And there's the sense of acceptance within ourselves. Now, because during this time, the Sun, Mercury, and Venus are all conjunct Uranus. Uranus is a bit of a troublemaker. So it brings heightened disturbances within our world out. And now it's going to bring it in the sun sign of Taurus, because the sun is in Taurus for this time frame. So steady, good Taurus. All right, we see the disruptants come out. We can see ourselves getting a bit bullheaded. We can see where we're not feeling balanced within our lives amplified, and we can be feeling this even before this moon has started. So we can see that with it being conjunct Uranus, that there can be a little bit of tension. Like where there was once harmony, we're going to find chaos. Just a bit with what brings us deep emotional harmony and what also amplifies our emotional maturity. Within Mercury, when it comes to acceptance, it's like sometimes our words are going to come out wrong. Sometimes we're not going to be understood. We can get very frustrated with this because this is also bringing up the disruptance within the world. And right now, there's fear around words. They hold such power. But there is a sense of needing to let things be said and let things move forward and let conversations be had. Because if we're always swallowing our words or always too afraid to speak, what type of communication will that be? So the disruptance within the world is going to be kind of permeating our lives when it comes to our emotional maturity, when it comes to what makes us feel secure within ourselves, when it comes to the way that we feel like we can talk and express what we desire, especially if we're dealing with people who express things differently than us. So some people are talkers, like, oh my gosh, I just need to talk it out, and I need to talk it out with somebody. I myself, I feel like I'm a fixer. Like I'm like, if somebody gives me a problem, I want to fix it, or I want things to just be calm and steady and lovely. I want the energy to be lovely. So if we're like that, and I'm using this as an example, as something that just came up today, it's like it can lead to disruptance. It can lead to a sense of, well, I can't talk to you because you don't understand me, and the other sense of, well, I don't want to listen to you because all you ever do is put more work on my shoulders. So during this time, we need to kind of like step back and view everybody else's point of view and way of looking at things. Now, when it comes to Venus is about love and romance, right? But it's also about our private emotional side, what we need emotionally. And when the disruptance of the world is coming into our emotions, there's a sense of, how do I accept this? How do I move forward with this? How do I know where I want to be, or say what I want to say, or be who I am without feeling guilty or afraid or not being able to start my journey? And it leads us to saying there's beauty in the world. There's beauty in differences. There's beauty in greater understanding. There's beauty in the self. And so by looking at that beauty, and by this moon showing us this beauty, because we've seen the hard times. We've been through the hard times. These readings, I focus them, well, Spirit focuses them for me on the spiritual, on the brighter side. Yes, it gives us the warnings of the hurts and the pains and the disappointments. But if we walk down the dark road, with everything that's going on, with all the hurt and all the pain and all the suffering, not just now, but forever, it can be such an overwhelming place to be. And our lives are overwhelming. Everything that is put upon our shoulders, everything that has to be done, the fact that when we're little, we think, oh, when you're older, you don't have any responsibilities and you get to just do what you want. And then you get older and you're like, oh my gosh, when does it end? We don't need the weight added and added and added until we break. We don't need the fear having more fire put on it. We need to see the beauty. We need to see the erotic. We need to see the sensual in life. And it's not the erotic just simply in sex. It is the erotic in the existence. It's the erotic in the beauty that we see and the way that we can connect with nature and each other, and the fact that we are a tapestry of such beautifully interwoven parts if we let ourselves be, if we open ourselves up. And there's a sense here of looking at the poverty, looking at the hurt and at the pain, and knowing when to pick our battles and when to say, all right, I step back. Like, I read somewhere, I was reading this book, and this person said in the book, and I thought it was so terribly funny, if I fought every idiot, I would never stop fighting, right? And I have a life to live. So that's what this is saying here. It's like, if I fought everybody who didn't agree like me, like I do, like everybody who didn't see what I see, everybody who, aggravated me, I'd never stop fighting. And isn't that a horrible way to be? So here it's letting the beauty come in, and it's moving us to our path of enlightenment, to our path of connection and security and working with others and being able to see a bigger picture here. Being able to ascend, even though the ladder is scary and rickety and makes us think, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's being able to walk our path, to gain our knowledge, to have our understanding. So there's so much more here than meets the eye. And that's going to be so important for us during this time. Because again, this full moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio can be about secrets. We can have secrets. And you know what? We tend to think, and we tend to be told, oh no, like my life is an open book. No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't be so silly. We edit everything online. And we've been editing everything since, cameras were developed. The Victorians literally edited their pictures. They narrowed their waist. That's why the backgrounds would have to be like either black or, just a very certain way, so that the waist could be edited. They could look exactly the way that they wanted to. And we still do that today. This is what people always have done. I mean, when we carvings on Egyptian walls, we edited the way our pharaohs looked. We just always have. So here, when we look at this moon and we surrender to the divine, it's a sense to say, this is me. This is who I am. This is who I need to be. This is what I desire. This is what I want. And there's a need not to be in control. And that sounds odd. But when we say, thy will be done, there's a sense of, I'm stepping back from the control. I'm stepping back from having to know everything. And there can be a mystery, and there can be a beauty, and there can be complexity here. And I'm moving with it. I'm developing with it. And it moves us then to this full moon in Scorpio. It says it's time to release the negativity. Because if we don't release it, it will drown us. And it will drown us. It will drown us, it will overwhelm us, and it will take away every single joy that is within our lives. Have you ever been in a place, Lord knows I have, where the sorrow comes, where the darkness comes, and it just doesn't seem to stop coming? We get annoyed, and then we can see that annoyance everywhere. We feel overwhelmed, and then we can see that overwhelmed everywhere. Releasing the negativity does not mean that we walk around like fools. It means that we give ourselves a break. That we realize to err is to be human, to make mistakes is to live. And we start looking at our stories as stories, not as perfections, because what makes life beautiful is not the perfect. What makes life beautiful is the humanity, the imperfection. That's why computers can't simulate beautiful pieces of music, because the beautiful pieces of music are as perfect as human beings can get it, but they still have the human element to them. This is a time where we start to see that. This is a time where we release our resistance to change and we start to overcome our limitations, but we also start to name our limitations. Like, listen, dude, I'm super afraid of this, or I'm super overwhelmed here, and not think that we have to carry it all, or not think, oh, well, you know what, other people have it so much harder. I can't complain. I can't be upset. Yes, we can be. Because it doesn't matter if somebody else would laugh at our pain, which is rude, first of all. What matters is that it's our pain. And we get to connect with it. And we get to not feel alone within this world. Because it's too easy. As much as we can be connected within 5 seconds to everybody all over the world, we yet feel so terribly alone. This is a time where we start looking at the beauty. This is called the pink moon. The pink supermoon. And it's called the pink moon because Native Americans saw that the flowers came up during this time. And so they named it for the color and the beauty. Here, it's to embrace that beauty, that color, that vibrance. And it's to know the power of ourselves. Supermoon says emotions are running high, obviously. Obviously, everything is amplified. Attraction. During this time, what we focus on, we attract. Now, this doesn't mean, this has been something I've been doing lately. I would always start journaling and then stop journaling because it's a waste of time and I don't have a lot of it and everything's overwhelming and being pulled 18 million different ways. But if I stop and I force myself to do the act of writing, to do the act of slowing down, which is what our world does not want right now, all of a sudden, I can see me better. So if we attract, if we take our time to slow down, to connect, to say this is sacredly important to me, this is the way my heart has to move, we can start to see our power. We can start to see our understanding. If we release the negativity from within us, we're not constantly thinking about it, because what we're thinking about during this time is what we attract to us. It leads us then to our new moon in Taurus. Now the new moon always says a new start is coming. It gives us the blank slate, the cleared chalkboard. So here we have beginnings. We have a new start is coming, a new way of beginnings is moving us forward. And it says here, prosperity lies ahead. There's beauty here. There is power here. There's a way to connect. Prosperity lies ahead. It might not be the prosperity that we imagined. It might not be the life that we had thought of. But it is prosperous. And that's what's important. I keep what is it? It's the magician in Shakespeare, Prosperous. And it's being able to conjure. It's being able to embrace the magnificent. It's also knowing that things cannot just appear the way that we want it to. It's work, and it's hard work, and it's beauty, and it's connection. Prosperity lies ahead. And it's embracing the beauty of the Taurian energy, which is going to be very familiar to us because we are earth sign energies. So earth sign energy calls to earth sign energy. A Taurian is stubborn and bullheaded and, can get the job done. But the Taurian also has the beautiful sensual energy around them. That if we ignore that sensual side, if a Taurus ignores the sensual side of them, they ignore so much of their personality, so much of their soul, so much of themselves. And that's what we will tend to do during this time. We will look at what needs to be done, and we will ignore the beauty within us. We will ignore the power within our souls, the beauty within ourselves, the way to look at the erotic, the way to stop and just admire the sun shining through the leaves, and the trees budding with life, and the birds singing and flying. It's being able to connect. When at times we feel so terribly disconnected, it leads us to the full moon in Sagittarius, which is look at the bigger picture. Why? Because it's important. It's not only looking at our goal, which can become finite and overwhelming. And if we only look at our goal, what once was beautiful to us, what once was like the whole entire world, or every thought and dream, can become the weight around our neck, pulling us down and down and down, the chains that bind us. There is an archer, I believe his name is Lance. I keep on forgetting to look this up. And he has proven everybody wrong. He practices archery, but he lives archery. He breathes archery. He studied old texts. So historians believe that you lined up and you shot your bows. You shot your bows from, horseback, but still it was a much more motorized thing, like very, very much done one certain way. He has proven that there is life to it, that your arrows don't have to be in the quiver on your back, that they could be at your side, that they could be in your hand, that there's a dance to it, as there is a dance to life. So when we're looking at the bigger picture, we also have to look at the dance. We have to look at the beauty that is around us. We have to take in and look at the whole entire scene instead of just the one part that we so desperately want, that we're so desperately focused on. We can see nothing else. And conclusions are within reach. Because we're looking at the bigger picture, we can see more, understand more. It leads us to the spirit animals for this time, the wolf spirit and the hawk spirit. Now these are the spirit animals for April. And the wolf spirit says, turn your knowledge into wisdom. The hawk spirit says, let spirit be your guide. So turning knowledge into wisdom is important. It's the goal of life, to take the knowledge that we accumulate as we live and have it be the wisdom for which we grow by, we excel by, we can pass on to other generations, just simply through talking to them, not saying that we have to go out and have children, but there is this sense of wisdom becoming part of us. And what is sad within our world is that we put such an emphasis on youth, and we forget the beauty that comes with age. The hawk spirit says, let spirit be your guide. Why? Because spirit can fly higher and see clearer than you ever can. The wolf spirit is also going to have us connected to our place within this world, our pack. We need it. A wolf needs a pack. We have this romanticized version of a lone wolf. And yeah, that's cool. But a lone wolf in the wild is the most stressed of all the wolves. He is the one that doesn't have somebody to sing with, that doesn't have somebody to hunt with, and has to rely solely on himself. Now, this is again going to be what Saturn brings up within us, that sense of I can only rely on me. But that's not true, and we kind of have to fight that urge. We have to connect at least with one person, or even just write down in a journal, everything that's upsetting us, everything that's frustrating us. It's not focusing on it, but it's releasing it. And it's releasing it through the art of writing, which is almost meditative, or is meditative in a way. And it brings us to connecting with that page, with the sides of our mind that are warring with each other. And it brings us then to a power through focus, and connection with our place within the world and where we want our place to be, what we desire and what we're looking for. It brings us a sense of freedom and a sense of sharp intellect because we're figuring things out. The Hawk Spirit also has power through focus because the Hawk Spirit is the symbolic, or is the messenger of the spirit world. And so it moves us here to focus on the power that is coming to us, on the vision that is coming to us, the clarity of sight, the clarity of understanding, and the increase of spiritual awakening. Now, in May, the spirit animals for May are the elk spirit and the beaver spirit. And of course, I do not have an elk in this deck, so we have the antelope standing in. The antelope spirit says life is speeding up, and that's good. It gives a good message, and it aligns with the elk, which says you're entering into a time of plenty. So life is speeding up because we're entering into a time of plenty. Now, it might not be the plenty that we want. We might get the exact lesson that we need, not that we want, which is what the beaver spirit shows us. All right? We're jumping in. We're getting what we desire. And the elk spirit, no, it's the elk spirit that says everything you need, you will get. It's not everything you want. It's everything you need. So you're entering into a time of plenty, and everything you need, you will get. Again, it's not everything you want. And then we move to the beaver spirit. Lay a solid foundation. The beaver spirit says trust in your own creativity. Lay a solid foundation for who you are. It doesn't have to be the solid foundation forever. You don't have to live in the one, beaver dam for the rest of your life. You can move, you can change, you can develop. But lay a solid foundation. It's time to create. And it's accomplishments through cooperation, through collaboration, which we see in the public arena being so very important. And this is a motivation for the jump start, which we see within our inner heart, in our inner soul. Now we're going to look at the chakra energy that we need to be just a little bit kinder to, where we're going to take our hits and how they're going to be impacting us. So let's look here. Angels and spirit guides. And it is the I Am Presence. And we see that. And we've seen that. From the Scorpio moon. The Scorpio moon is about the death, the rebirth, the regeneration, the bringing up issues of trust and control and power. The I Am Presence, the crown chakra, is the thoughts, which is where all this takes place within the mind. It's our thoughts in the spotlight on our fear. It's the thoughts and the spotlights on how we want to grow, which is, again, what this moon brings up so clearly and so powerfully for us. What are we focusing on? What are the words we say within ourselves? What do we need to purge ourselves of? The I Am Presence is I am what? I am successful, I am powerful, I am brilliant, I am brave. Or I am angry, I am overwhelmed, I am screwed over, all the freaking time, and excuse my language, but it's like I always have to fight. And when the heck is the fight going to end? What is our I Am Presence? And I know that people say, Dane, don't say the negative. Well, if I only say the positive. When people only say the positive, and I'm listening to them, I'm like, oh, absolutely, I absolutely agree with you. That's right where I am. But if they start saying the negative, I can hear it within me. That sense of, oh yeah, I say that. Oh yeah, I do that. Oh yeah, I think that. Oh yeah, I get angry. And it's not saying that we shouldn't get angry. Angry is a good thing. It propels us forward. But we shouldn't let it consume us. So the I Am Presence is crowning ourselves with knowledge. It's taking that crown and placing it on our heads. What is it? Is the crown beautiful? Is the crown tarnished and old? Do you think you don't even deserve a crown? What is it? How is it? And then we have the energy that we need to be mindful of during this time. So let's look at this, Capricorn. Angels and spirit guides. We have the Princess of Pentacles. We have to be mindful of making this all about money, making this all about quantitative success. Like, I have to be able to measure it and see it and have it for it to be successful. We have to be mindful of people who boil us down to these things. All right? We have to be mindful of the seeds that we are planting, the seeds that other people are planting in us. Are they seeds of anger, or are they seeds of beauty? Is it chaos and destruction that is guiding us forward, or is it creation and coming together? Because we have here, now in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, The princess, this is the Druid craft deck. The princess of Pentacles is the Page of Pentacles. So we start off where we end, okay? Within the lineup of this moon. So we start off with being a student of our prosperity, amplified by the new moon in Taurus, okay, on the 11th of May. But also amplified just simply because we are earth sign energies. We are going to be the students. We are going to be the ones looking at things. We are going to be studying. Now, this can also connect us with an earth sign energy child, which will be crowning our thoughts of our inner self, of how we want to move forward, of what we need, of what we desire. And so here with the Page of Pentacles, it's like, what do I want? What am I planting within my life? What do I need within my soul? How do I want to expand my world? How do I want to embrace my world? What do I need to be powerfully and beautifully me? What is it that I desire for myself? We're planting seeds. We're asking questions. We're getting curious. This moon brings up our curiosity because it also brings up a sense of, it brings up the sense that Plato said, all is flux and nothing stays the same. And I believe he said that 400 years before the birth of Christ, right? And if it was true then, it's true now. It's a fundamental life truth. And so we have this sense of, what is it that I desire? What is it I'm planting within me? What is it that I need? What is it that I want? And we start to see, but we also start to cherish. We start to cherish the fact that everything changes. We start to cherish the fact that today is not tomorrow, and that there is this beautiful way of sometimes getting a second chance, getting to connect differently. And it brings us to the Ten of Swords. It brings us to all the baggage that we carry, all the hurt that we have, all the disappointment that has made up our lives, and the fact that we've been laid flat. We've been laid out, stabbed through the back, hurt, pain, disappointment. But the thing with the swords, and the thing that's so interesting about the swords, is that it's the only weapon within the tarot. And it is a profound weapon. A sword represented nobility. A sword also represented skill. If you wielded the sword and you didn't know what you were doing, you were killed astoundingly easily, and, you didn't have a fighting chance. The swords were for those people who mattered, or who society thought mattered. That's why you see peasants rising up and they hold pitchforks and shovels and other, items from around the farm or wherever they were working in their hands. They never held a sword because they were not deemed worthy. To have 10 swords in our back, well, that says something. That says worthiness. The swords are the lessons that we learn, the knowledge that we accumulate. And we can pull the sword out of our back. We can rise, because this is the darkness before the dawn. And we can see the darkness for what it is. The hell that we have been through, the pain that we have lived through, the hurt that we have had. But it's wisdom gained. And it's gained the hard way. It's gained the way that we remember it. It's not the, watch out, the stove is hot. It's accidentally touching the stove, or being a little kid and touching the stove and being like, oh my goodness, that hurt. There's power here. And there's an understanding of this power. And so we rise. And it leads us to the Hermit. Now, it's so interesting that we have the Hermit and we have the Fool in our inner self. So we turn inward, and we need that introspection. This is why journaling can be so important. We can talk, but we need that silence. We need that meditation. So it could be talking it out if it's more comfortable for us. But I would highly recommend journaling, even if, nobody can read your writing. Nobody can understand it. You don't need to even reread it ever. You can just throw it away, burn it when you're done. You just need to release it. And then there's a sense of looking. There's a sense of understanding what we wish for, what we want. What does that boil down to? Are our wishes, so grandiose that we think, oh my gosh, that's never going to happen, but how do we boil it down? Do we want people to see us as somebody worthwhile? That's why we want to have the fancy car and the big house. How do we start seeing ourselves as someone worthwhile? We turn inward. We close the doors to others. And it's going to be important to close the doors to others. Because it's like, I need what I want. And it's not selfish, and it's not petty, and it's not angry. It's just a fact. I need what I want within this world. I need to move forward in a powerful, beautiful way of understanding. And we need our quiet for this. And then we have the Fool. The Fool is, we're on the edge of this cliff. We might fall, we might be stepping down, but we need to go for more. We need to jump. The Fool always begins the hero's journey. Because a hero is not a hero till they've won. An entrepreneur is not a success until they've won. An artist is not a success until they've won. So everybody who starts something that isn't within the mainstream is a fool. Does it mean that they are wrong? No, it doesn't. It just means that they are different. And here we have the Fool, holding the purity of excitement within his hands with the rose, having everything he needs with him. The dog, warning, don't fall off the cliff, don't jump off, but also in the same excitement and in almost the same kind of stance as the man himself. So it can be our primal side and our intellectual side are coming together at this, warning us, okay, there's going to be bumps and scrapes along the way. That's going to be more of our primal side. And our kind of more civilized side is going to say, I can do this. I can do this. And then it's the part of us that also says, wow, I didn't realize this was going to be so hard as we're doing it. So we need to take that risk. What we're looking for, what is steadily set up within us, goes in a different way than what we have right now, than what we're learning from and yearning for. It leads us to the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups, for me, for the longest time, has always been the people who are supposed to celebrate us that can't. And those people scar our hearts, especially if they're caregivers, if they're, people that we loved, that we gave our hearts to in one way or another. They could be romantic partners, they could be friends, but we got burned. This is also recognizing the people who have stood by us. And if we say, Dane, I don't have that. I don't have anybody who ever stood by me. It's connecting with spirit, with divinity, with the part of ourselves that hasn't given up. It's being able to acknowledge pain and see it for what it is, but also being able to call forth beauty and celebrate it in our hearts and in our truths. And it leads us to the Two of Swords. So because we've had this doubt and this pain, because we've known disappointment and we've had to rely on ourselves, again, it's going to be very important that we don't fall into the trap of stoicism with Saturn. Now, stoicism is beautiful and it's good, but it's also a sense of I have to do everything by myself. It can be taken to that extreme. So you don't want to take it to the extreme. Knowing that I have to carry my burdens, I have to live my life, I'm responsible for me, those are all brilliant things and very, very helpful. But to the point where I'm not connecting, that's going to be to our detriment. And the repeat of the number 3 is a number of creativity. It's also a number of divinity. It moves us to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is always thinking we had two paths. It's kind of like you could be, I always think of it as like you could be the housewife or you could be the career person. Because those are the two paths that I always thought of. But you can also find out that there's more. There's more to this life than what we had originally thought, than the two paths that were originally given to us. Also think of this as like my mother. She thought that you could be a housewife, right? That's the time that she grew up in. Or you could be a teacher or a nurse. And the careers were very limited. And yet she broke out of that mold. She, wound up getting a fellowship and an MBA and going into business when no women were in business. And so here, we start to see ourselves breaking the mold. And maybe not even knowing that we're breaking it. Just knowing, I'm good at this, I'm going to follow this. There can also be a longing within our hearts. A sense of, if I follow this road, my soul is going to die this way. Like, all the joy, all the beauty is going to be sucked out of my life this way. And if I follow this road, it's going to be sucked out of my life this way. This extremism is probably for a more artistic soul, but it is still true. It's like I can see the pain through this path, and I can see the pain through this path, but I've never seen anybody walk a path like me. And that can be because we're very introspective with our dreams, with our desires, with what we want. And it's not a bad thing to be introspective and to kind of play the cards close to the chest. But it is going to be sometimes lonely. So to have that community is going to be so important. And we've seen that come up again, time and time again, within this reading. Having that community is going to be important, even if the people don't ever know that they're part of your community. It can be listening to people on YouTube or wherever you listen to people, on whatever podcast. It can be connecting. It can be writing letters to somebody. It can be, starting to expand our world. And we start to see the path opening up. And it leads us to the 5 of Pentacles. It leads us to the poverty. Now, why would opening up lead us to poverty? Or leave us in poverty? Because we always go back to what we think we're worthy of. And those thought systems and those coping mechanisms were started when we were very small. And so we think, I can't move forward this way. I can't do this, but I need this. And so we can feel like I can walk outside of the building of safety, of the prosperity, of the bounty, but I can't ever go in. And the answer to that is why? Why can't we walk through the doors? Why can't we claim our prosperity? Why can't we claim our place at the table? So what? We're in rags. People might look. Everybody, here's the thing. In one point or another, in every single human being's life, they are in rags. Whether it's emotional rags, whether it's, literal rags, it does not matter. There's a time of poverty, and human beings, we walk through more than just one time of poverty in our lives, and one type of poverty. This is the sense of the heart feeling like I can't. But also emotionally, maybe even thinking, I will hurt me. I will fail, or I will fall before other people can hurt me, before other people can take from me what I've worked so hard for, what I so greatly need, or want, desire. And here it's like, enough is enough. I've suffered long enough. And this is also a very challenging card, especially if we grew up with caregivers that fought about money, or that made money into this scary thing. So it can be like, well, what makes you think you can have it? Or what makes you think you can be successful? It's like, enough is enough. Step back. Step back and start to embrace prosperity and abundance. And start to hold your head up high and say, I claim more than I ever imagined I could have. I claim beauty and prosperity and abundance. And I get to see it slowly, steadily coming into my life. We will fall back into patterns of poverty, of doubt, of fear, of anger, of upset. We're human. So we do have to fight that. And we also have to fight the jerks that think you're not worthy. I'm going to argue with you because it's fun. I'm going to disagree with you because I can. It's like, fine. You have your opinion and I have my opinion. You live your life and I'll live my life. Period. End of discussion. Save the fighting for when it's worth it, for when it's valuable. We all know those people who always fight, okay? Or we've at least seen them on television. Like those people who take out lawsuits on everybody, and so it's never taken seriously, even if they have something really brilliant, So here, there is a sense of be mindful. Be mindful of the fights we get into. Be mindful of the energy we expand or we release into the world. Because we don't get it back. Not in the same way. And so here with the 7 of Wands, it's like, be mindful within our hearts of what we want and what we desire, because emotionally we're a little bit fragile. And things get hard. And it's going to be really easy to fall into old patterns of arguing, of doubt that was set into us when we were small, okay? Of poverty that can't be ours, and thinking there's only 2 ways of doing this, and both of them stink. So we do have the sense within our hearts of fatalism, of nihilism, of thinking, how could I ever? And that's where we're trapped. And it's like our hearts can trap us if we let them during this time. And it could be too much of a burden. And the 8 of Swords is like, step back. Yes, we feel tied up, but look, there's a way out. There's a way out if we follow the water, if we follow our emotions and not simply our mind. There's a way out if we start to be kind to ourselves, if we start to give ourselves, respect and energy and time and understanding. The 8 of Swords is a trap of our own making. It's like the bird that has the cage door open, but is so used to being caged it never flies out. Which, you might say is a good thing. That bird could be eaten, but that bird could also get to fly around the room and get to explore a bigger world and then go back home. So here, there is more that comes, and we just need to start embracing that little by little, inch by inch, because things are speeding up. And if we keep ourselves caged, if we keep ourselves doubting, if we only see what's in our own mind, which is why she's blindfolded, she can't see. And her hands are tied, so she can't even kind of feel her way. Her senses are limited to just what she thinks she knows. When our senses are limited to just what we think we know, we're screwed. We don't know as much as we think we do. And so here, in the public arena, we're going to think, it has to be like this. But if our senses are limited to just the way that we thought things were supposed to be. We will never see the light that truly guides us forward. So be mindful of that. It's like, okay, well, let me think about this. Let me open up these doors. Let me expand this idea. The Eight of Wands is things speeding up. The Eight of Wands is things changing. And we need a change. We absolutely need a change. But we can't get swept away. We can't think, oh my gosh, I didn't want this. I can't have the change like this. Oh my goodness, what is happening? The Eight of Wands is things being able to move. Let's see where they go. Let's get creative. Let's also let our passion guide us just a bit. And it moves us to the eight, not to the eight. It moves us to the world. And the world is of celebration. The world is of passion. The world is of royalty. The world is of expression and freedom and joy. The world is more than we thought it was. And maybe less than we expected, which can be disappointing. The world starts to open. And we start to see. We start to see that maybe there's more here than I thought. Maybe I don't always have to be looking at my feet. Maybe I get to look at the sky and the stars and the beauty of the world around me. Maybe I get to be celebrated. Maybe I get to pick a new place within this world that I want to be, a new way that I want to move forward, a new desire, a new passion that I have. The Three of Pentacles is working with others. It's collaboration. It's greater understanding. It's also not letting other people take credit for what you yourself have done. But it's also the pillar for which so much of our faith within ourselves relies on. It's a team effort. It's beauty. It's skill. It's claiming what's rightfully ours. It's opening up our eyes. It leads us to seeing what the moon has to say now. How we end this. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide me, please, and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly. Personal issues resolved. A fiery climax approaches. Confidence is key to success. Don't let pride get in the way. Strong Leo energy here. Your commitment is being tested, which makes perfect sense. Nothing will come of this situation. So I love it when the void of course comes in, because it's just like a curveball. So when it says nothing will come of the situation, it's not like all this time is wasted, all this reading is wasted, you know, you might as well like go hide in a hole type of thing. It's like, no, that's not it. What you think will happen will not happen. Plain as day. Okay? So the void of course is when are these times, you know, within the moon, and I have them linked in the description box below, where things will just not work out the way that we want them to. During this time, it coming up with the moon, it means that things will just not work out the way that we thought. It can be very much linked to the Two of Swords. We had two ways forward, and we're going to see that other ways start opening. You know, other ways start guiding us. So the way we thought, I don't want to say throw it out the window, you know, release it, but know that it's not going to work the way that you had anticipated. It's just not. So a personal issue reaches resolution, it does. But again, it's not going to be the way that you thought it would, because it has pain involved in it. It also has looking at prosperity differently. And being more introspective, being more contemplative, like being more, what do I need? What do I want? What is the desire here? It leads us to a fiery climax approaching. It leads us to passion. It leads us to greater understanding. It leads us to ferocity of spirit. And it brings us, like this fiery climax is like, I don't care what you said. I don't care how others have spoken about me. I am moving forward to where I need to be. I might not get there now. And there is a sense of it taking time, yes. But there is also a sense of I'm changing the story that I tell myself. I'm changing the narrative that follows me around. And the story that through my actions, through my fears, through my doubts, I tell others. It moves me then to confidence being the key to success. And it is. Because I'm taking control of the situation. It's not that I'm making it so everybody looks at me or listens to me. I'm making it so that I know that my voice matters. And I know that I have every right to claim the power of my voice. It brings us then to the fact that we need not let pride get in the way. Don't let pride get in the way. Confidence is key to success. Arrogance is unattractive. So here, as we're moving forward, as we're beginning this journey, it's not like all bravado, oh yeah, I can do this, oh, I'm going to be so great, and be like the person who just doesn't do anything. And it's also not saying, oh, I'm so spectacular, and then putting all that pressure on ourselves, and then doing something that really is great, but it's not as great as we kind of built it up to be. So don't let pride get in the way. Don't let ego start to rule the show, because it can come forward very, very easily. Your commitment is being tested. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, because life is hard. Yeah, it is, because you meet with jerks that try to hold you back, or situations that make you doubt yourself. So your commitment is being tested. And it can be hard and overwhelming and doubtful and make us think, oh my gosh, can I do this? But if we stay true to ourselves, if we stay true to our dreams, but also if we tweak our dreams a bit and say, oh, you know what, that isn't really working for me, maybe this. Or, okay, well, that isn't good, maybe this. We start to see things in a more powerful way. We start to see things in a more honest way. And then it brings us to nothing will come of the situation. What we thought we'd be building with others, how we thought the world would open. It's not going to happen. It might happen just a little bit differently, but a little bit different can add to a whole lot of different down the road. Nothing will come of the situation. It does not mean to give up. It means to go with the flow, to know that you're going to be swept away. And we saw that with the 8 of Wands. In one way or another, you're going to be swept away. Let it come. Experience it. See what happens. The subconscious Luna message is be bold and make the first move. Because why not? Why not just try? Why not experiment? Why not go out of our comfort zone? Be bold and go after what we want. It leads us to going deeper into the Luna message of the void, the darkness, the nothing, the quiet, the peace. So much comes of this moon because we let the quiet bring us forward. The dark moon, the eclipse of the moon, it's going to be a part of this time. It intensifies things, it clarifies things, because it brings nothing but what is needed forward. Our subconscious chakra message is the inner child, the heart chakra. It's letting the heart have a say in things. It's also knowing that our inner child needs love and care and respect. Knowing that there needs to be beauty within our hearts. And also that we need to love the child that we were. Not just think, oh, you should have done better. You should have been more. Or I was great when I was a child, but now, not so much. It's holding our arms open to who we once were and to who we are today. And having that beautiful blending, that beautiful caring. I love the exercise of just visualizing the child that we were, running into the arms of the adult we are today, and being able to hold that child, to care for that child, to love that child, to say, I'm here for you, I respect you, and I will always be a part of you, and I will always listen to you, and love you. It leads us to our subconscious person message, which is the Lord. Now the Lord, it very much links to the Leo energy, even though it is Aries. But it's that fire sign energy, and it's going to think, through force, I can do this. When we have people in our lives say, through force, I can do this, like, you will do this because I said so, we're going to balk at that. We don't like it. We're not going to like it at all. But also, when we do that, it's not going to get us where we want to be. We can think it will. We think, like, oh, well, you have to listen to me. But it's going to be, this time, it's like, I need to grow this. It's kind of like trying to make a plant grow. And you have this little tiny seed, and you say, you will grow because I said so. And you just leave it on the table. You could even plant it if you wanted to, but you don't water it, you don't take care of it. But if we take that seed, and we put it into soil, and we nurture it, and we put it in a greenhouse, and we really give it the care and the love that it needs, the seed will grow. Or at least some of the seeds will. If we plant a whole bunch of them, you have some seeds that won't take, and we have some seeds that will. And it's not going to come through force. It's coming through nurturing. Sometimes we do need force. Sometimes it's like, you do have to listen to this because it just has to be so. Period. End of the discussion. But we need to let the heart come into it, not just the rules. The subconscious chakra message, not chakra, tarot message, is the Knight of Cups. We're moving forward in love. Slowly, steadily, and powerfully. We're going to see that our hearts are a weapon, but our hearts are also beautiful. We get to embrace love. We get to embrace beauty. We get to fight for the erotic within life, the glorious, the beautiful, the awe-inspiring. It gets to be a part of us. and we get to be a part of it. Alright, Capricorn, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the beauty of this pink supermoon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn, and may you have a blessed moon.